Hello, guys. This is Dr. Hambrick again. Now I'm here to introduce Unit 4. Okay, so in Unit 4, this is actually my absolute favorite theory next to the, the one that I created, which is values-based reasoning. But I really, really, really like this theory. This is by Dr. Albert Ellis. Unfortunately, he has passed away. But Dr. Ellis was a very brilliant psychologist, but also he was a little rough around the edges, to say the least. Okay, so with that said, Dr. Ellis introduced this particular theory, the ABCD theory, in Unit 4, and I wanted to share this particular theory with you all because Dr. Ellis has a different take on life, and what he says is that anything and everything that happens to us, it is our problem, our fault. We make ourselves sick, we make ourselves successful. Dr. Ellis think in that way. Now, as you'll read in the textbook, I have a disclaimer there. I believe in God. So I believe that, yeah, we have some control within reason, but I also believe that there are some entities that are just, some things are happening that are outside of our control. With that said, I still love his theory because what his theory exhibits is control. Again, I say within reason. And so basically, the ABCD theory is a theory that introduces the A, activating events, the B, your beliefs or thoughts or cognitions about those events, and then the C, which is the consequences of your thinking as it relates to the event, and then D, delta. Whenever you are feeling, thinking, or doing things that you feel are outside of the range of your desired thinking, emotions, and doing, then you can dispute your thinking. And as a result of disputing your thinking and correcting what Dr. Ellis called faulty thinking, you can actually change your consequences. Again, you have an event, which is the A, the activating event. And you will notice in the chart that the activating event has no meaning whatsoever. And I say this with all caution. And that is that someone could come in and do some harm to me or my sons or my husband or something like that. And I'm not saying this lightly at all, but I am saying that if something terrible was to happen, it's just an event. And that event is going to matter depending upon how I think about it, right? So if I blank out and I act like it didn't happen, the way I react to that thought that, oh, it didn't happen, my sons are fine, they didn't get hurt, or I'm fine, I never got hurt. My behaviors, as a consequence to that type of thinking, my behaviors are going to naturally follow, and they will be behaviors that will cause me harm in the future because I'm not thinking realistically about what really happened and how I'm processing why it happened. Does that make sense? To give you something a little less lighter, let's say we all go on a roller coaster ride, and I love roller coasters, love them. And then my husband, not so much, right? So if we're both on the same roller coaster ride, the way I think about the roller coaster ride is that this is exhilarating, this is fun, I can be free and one with the air and having all this fun. And so my thoughts and my response to that type of thinking is going to be, woohoo, I'm having a good time. Well, if my husband is on the same ride with me, he's going to be thinking, when is this over? Like, I just want to get on the ground. This is scary. I don't like this. And as a result of his thinking, his body will tense up. He will be fighting the air instead of free with the air, one with the air. And his body will physiologically react to such fear and anxiety, if you will. And what's funny about this is my husband is actually a paratrooper. He used to jump out of planes in the military. Why he does not like roller coasters, I do not understand, but I digress. With that said, the point I'm trying to make is the activating event is exactly the same. We're both sitting on the roller coaster. Our thinking is what is different. I think this is great. He thinks this is scary. As a result of me thinking is great, my body responds well with the roller coaster ride. The ups, the downs, the high in the air, the stomach dropping. My stomach doesn't drop when I'm on a roller coaster ride. My husband, on the other hand, because he thinks this is terrible, I'm scared, blah, 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 his reaction is different. It's how we think about situations and events that trigger our responses. If we have responses that are not desirable, we have to dispute the D in the ABCD theory, the B. We have to dispute the B. We have to dispute the faulty thinking. My husband thinking on the roller coaster ride, it is faulty. Faulty in the sense that it causes his body to tense up. And I mean, it's not faulty in the sense that that can be scary. So if he take what is legitimate and faulty at the same time, faulty in the fact that it makes his body hurt, if he takes that and change the way he thinks about it, because it's a truth, it's fearful for him. But if he changed the way he thinks about it, he changes the reaction from being faulty, if you will, to a reaction that will be one that is more desirable. We're going to talk about this a little bit further in the textbook when it comes to motivation. Most people think that other people can motivate you. Hate to tell you this, but they cannot. All of your motivation comes from within. It's all about you. It's not your parents. I don't care how hard they worked. It's not anything else. It's you. It's how you think about the sacrifices that your parents made. If you think that those sacrifices were, they did that for themselves. They didn't do that for me. If you think that, then you're going to respond in a way that's like, I don't owe you guys anything. But if you think their sacrifices were made for me, and as a result, I'm going to do well, then you're saying I owe you. And because you think that way, you're going to work harder for your parents. You understand what I'm saying? Motivation comes from within. And when the quicker you learn that, the sooner you get your power back. That's what the ABCD theory teaches us. It teaches us that every single event that happens in our life, good or bad, are empty events, and they remain empty until we apply our past experiences, our past thinking to those events and assign value to those events, negative or positive values. And once we assign those values, we are going to react accordingly. And then we can assess, is this the appropriate way for me to react, or do I really want to react that way? I say, and then, because sometimes we react. If you want to be more savvy about it, think before you act. Process the ABCD theory. Look at any situation as an empty event and say, how do I want to respond to that? Why do I think that she's being facetious? Did I give her a chance to get to know me? Do I even know her? Am I judging her a book by its cover? Am I looking at him? For example, the topic of today is racism and Black Lives Matter and genderism, if you will, and age. Is so much going on in our world today. But if we stop and assess ourselves and think about the thinking that we're applying to someone else without giving them an opportunity to share with us what they really think, we're kind of reacting to our thoughts to an empty situation, and that may or may not work well for us. So again, ABCD theory works in any given situation, just like every other theory that I have taught you. As a throwback so far, we've talked about Bloom's taxonomy, the 3 domains of learning, stage theory, the elements of thought, and now we're going to introduce the ABCD theory, and our last theory will be values-based reasoning. Again, this is my favorite theory because it gets me through some really, really, really tough times. We all react. I don't care how many times I've integrated these theories and used them to my advantage. These theories are killer, like sometimes, and then, killer in the sense that they help me get ahead in life. But at the same time, I'm human, and so I fall short and I get upset. Sometimes I like being mad. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I just like being funky. And when I get sick of being funky, I pull out these theories to help me get myself together, because I get sick of myself sometimes. So, oh man, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, your student learning outcome for this particular unit is values-based reasoning, meaning I want you to be able to look at use the elements of thoughts, look at things from other people's perspective, measure their ideas and their concepts against your own perspective and your own values and your own beliefs about things, right? And maybe use a little bit of Bloom's taxonomy to help you gather information at the level of knowledge, and then convert that information to understanding so that you can better understand the person that you're talking to and their perspective, and then maybe draw some conclusions from there, jump to the level of evaluation and go from there. Sounds good? All right, this is Unit 4, the ABCD theory. I hope you guys have a blast with the story of Jason and Elka. That was fun writing. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoy that as well. All right, see you in Unit 5. Have a good one.